Well, we're back at it again. So, we're here with another in the bag, yet another one. I know I recorded this when I first announced my sponsorship with Lone Star Discs, but since then I was very new to their stuff. I didn't really know what I was doing. Now, however, I have a few tournaments under my belt, got my first win under my belt at the time of recording this video. So, let's update you guys on what I'm pretty confident and pretty comfortable will be my bag for the upcoming tournament. Sure, I'm still looking for a few things, and I'm still swapping things in and out, but I have a definite feel for what each disc does and what I'm looking for when building my bag. So without further ado, let's check out what I got. I'm starting off with my V1 Jackrabbit. I use this a lot for like if there's a lot of headwind or if I'm just want something to really move left. It's very stable. It has a nice little bead on it. But it's very reliable in the wind. Just all around a great hyzer approach disc. That's basically what, or if I have like a headwind and I'm trying to putt, I putt with penny putters and they're a little bit on the understable side, so wind will definitely get a hold of them. So I'll disc up to the Jackrabbit when I absolutely need to, but other than that, it's really just my main approach disc. Moving on, I got the Armadillo. This one I dyed, and it's probably my go-to, let's say 150 to 200 foot off the tee, or even approach, just open approaches. I know this thing's not going to fly further than that if I want it to. So it's very, very reliable for me to just throw straight. It'll finish straight. I can throw it on a little bit of hyzer. It'll pop up and ride a little bit without like turning and burning. It's an overall just very, very straight, very reliable for me. Putt and approach. I don't putt with it, but I do love it for just those simple 150, 200 foot approach or off the tee shots. If I'm looking for something a step more stable, I have my Copperhead. It'll fly a little further. I could probably get this thing around 250, and it'll fight the wind better than the Armadillo will. So if it's a little windier, I need to go a little further while still going straight, or something I can trust to put a little more torque on, I'll go for the Copperhead. Now moving up, I have probably my furthest flying putter. I have my Bravo First Run penny putter. And this one is in Bravo plastic, so it's a little bendy. But this one I'll use if I'm trying to get up to like 300, yeah, about same with 250, but I can get it to pop up more and ride, and it's a little more of a flight with less effort than it is ripping on the Copperhead. I don't throw it a lot because it's too pretty, but I put it in the bag because it's pretty. You know me, I like cool discs. That's just how it is. There's a lot of guarantees in life. Gravity will always pull you to the ground. Oxygen is stuff we need to breathe, and I will bag pretty discs. Those are the 3 laws of nature. Study them in school. Next is my putters. Well, my putting putter. Got my V1 penny putter. I use these. These are just my go-to putt. That's all I use it for. This blue one is my main putting putter. I'll use a Circle 1, Circle 2, does not matter. And this one, this was the first penny putter I ever got. I got it at Amateur Worlds last year. And I've beaten it in, you can barely see the stamp anymore. But I've beaten it in to the point where even if I throw it on like a spike hyzer, it'll pop up and turn. It is so understable, and I love that. I love having a disc that no matter what I do to it, it will go right. So that's what I use it for. Just really soft, controlled approaches. I don't have to throw this hard to get it to turn or to get it to go straight. So I've beaten this into the point where it's like a backup putter for me if heaven forbid I lose my putting putter. But most of the time I'm pulling this out if I need something to get right or to just like approach again, but with no wind. I love having understable putters. This is my understable putter. Love it to death. And then since I haven't quite been able to find a replacement for this particular move or this particular disc type, I do bag a Get Freaky Crystal Flex Zone. I'm hoping at some point to find that replacement, that zone replacement. Until then, this is the one non-Lone Star disc in my bag. This is just my stable forehand approach disc. I'm hoping to find one soon, but until then, this is kind of the placeholder for it. Moving on to mid-ranges, I got the most understable mid-range you've ever thrown. It's the Lone Wolf. This is in the Bravo plastic. Again, very flimsy, but, well, very flexible. I love the feel of the Bravo plastic in my hands. And this thing, just like my penny putter, no matter how much I try, it will not hyzer out on me. It is so understable, and I love that. If I need to get right, like if I just need to flip through like a tight gap and go right, this disc is so good. It's so easy to control. I know exactly what it's going to do. Another just left to right moving disc, and that's really all I use it for. Moving on to my workhorse mid-range, it's the Texas Ranger. This one, again, shocker, also in Bravo plastic. Any hole under 300 to 310 feet, anything that and lower, most likely I'm pulling this out. This will go dead straight for me. I can get it to turn, I can get it to hyzer. No matter what I want it to do, no matter what angle I put this disc on, it's going to do exactly that. It is so reliable. I cannot explain to you enough how great this mid-range is. This is like the mid-range I've always looked for before I switched to full Lone Star. I bagged this, or in my original bag before I switched to all Lone Star. This was my go-to mid-range then. It's my go-to mid-range now. You can't beat it. You gotta check out the Texas Ranger. It is so good. And now the Walker, or as some might say, the Justice spot. This thing is dummy overstable at 5.304. Like, if I want, I can't get it. It's like the exact opposite of the Lone Wolf. The Lone Wolf, I can't get to go left if I really tried. This, I can't get to go right if I really tried, if I'm throwing backhand. Mostly, I use this for forehands, on like forehand approaches, just because I know exactly how it's going to fly. It is a very reliable finish. I can get it to go straight before dumping, and I can even cook it on a little bit of an angle that it'll fight out of and finish. No matter what, it's going to finish the way it's supposed to. On a right-hand forehand, it's going to finish on the right. Right-hand backhand, it's going to finish left. And it basically doesn't matter how much wind you throw at this thing. It's still going to go the direction it's supposed to go.
Quick editor note, I also have an Alpha MIDI that I play with. I took it out of the bag, so it rotates in and out.
Moving on to my fairway drivers, I'm going to start off with the Mockingbird. The Mockingbird is like a weird in-the-middle disc. Usually they're supposed to be less stable, but I have it in the Bravo plastic, which is a more stable plastic than some of their other stuff. So I kind of have this as an in-between, for in-between the Guadalupe and the, oh, my discs! No! Darn it! Anyway, this is kind of my in-between between the Guadalupe and the Lariat. So actually, if I was smart, I would do this in order. Least stable, my Guadalupe. It is a 7.6 -2.2, and this thing, if I'm trying to get like 350, I can even get this up to like 380 feet. This thing flies forever for no reason. But if I'm looking for something that I don't quite feel like disking up to a distance driver, even though it kind of requires that distance driver distance, but I just want more control, like to hit a gap in the woods or something, I'm going to pull this out. This is kind of my accuracy disc. That's really about it. But then my in-between is the Mockingbird, which it does about the same thing, but it's a little more stable. So if I feel a little bit of wind coming through, or I need something that I can throw on a little bit of a flex and rely at the very end it'll finish, that's what I'll throw this Mockingbird for. I don't know why it's as stable as it is, because usually Mockingbirds aren't that stable, but this one is, so who knows. And then my all-around fairway that I'll throw the most, I love fairway drivers, is my Lariat. And this Lariat, I can throw it flat and it'll finish with a little bit of turn. I can throw it in anhyzer and it'll fight out. I can throw it on hyzer. It's like my Texas Ranger, but flies further. I can get this thing about 350, and it's just a reliable, no matter what kind of shot I need, as long as it's under like 350 feet, chances are I'm pulling out the Lariat. Disking up as a more in-between, because again, I have like 50 fairway drivers. This is in between. This is a step up from the Lariat, is the Frio. And the Frio is super stable. Well, not super. Whatever. I'm picking that up later. We're full sending this. When life gives you lemons, make apple juice like a rebel. The Frio is a step more stable than than the Lariat. It's a 7.5 -1.1. I feel like it flies more stable than that, personally. Some people might have other opinions, but just for the way I throw and the snap I get on the disc, it does run more stable. I can't really get it to turn on me. I can just throw it straight and it'll go straight and then eventually finish, or it'll just hyzer out. So if there's a little wind that I'm uncomfortable throwing the Lariat with, I'm going to throw the Frio instead, because I'm going to get similar results while not having as much flip and variability with the wind. Step more stable from that, even. So if there's like a lot of wind, or I'm trying to just hammer something flat and reliable finish, is the Brazos. I think the Brazos is a good kind of 1-2 punch with the Frio, because the Frio you can go straight for a lot longer. This one is just a lot more stable. You can throw it on the same line. This will finish harder. So that's all I use it for. Like, for example, hole 12 at Akron, flat, or hole 12 at Roland, and I'll put a picture in to show you what that looks like. But I'll throw this really hard, really flat, and it'll just go flat and then finish. This thing will push too far because it doesn't want to finish as hard, and then this thing will get a little flip out of it and just ride forever. So this is the step more stable that I like. Or if there's a lot of wind and I'm not trying to go very far, then I'll also throw the Brazos. My go-to forehand disc in the woods is the Mad Cat. It's kind of like Lone Star's version of a Firebird. This will be almost any hole that has like a forehand element to it, or a right moving shot for me. I'll pull out the Mad Cat. That's really all I use it for. I don't touch this backhand because I have the Brazos, and I'm weird. There's a truck went by. Don't let anybody tell you that you can backhand your forehand discs. They're sinners. Don't listen to them. I have a forehand disc, and forehand only. I will never throw this backhand unless I absolutely have to, and by absolutely have to, it means I lost these 3 beforehand, and now I just need something stable. But yeah, this is my forehand disc. I can throw it on anhyzer and it'll kind of work itself out, or I can hammer it flat and it won't really turn if I throw it flat, and it'll finish reliably right. So I love the Mad Cat. This Starry Night stamp, 1200 made. This thing is sick. You're probably not even supposed to throw this because it's a collector disc, but again, you know the golden rule and the 3rd rule of nature? Austin bags cool looking discs. So that's what it is. Now the disc that fell. Have you ever told yourself, you know what? Firebirds aren't stable enough. You know what? Splices from Discmania aren't stable enough. I would venture to say a tilt's not stable enough. I have a Chupacabra. This thing is that. I don't know why this thing doesn't believe in wind. It's much like in my first ever in the bag where it doesn't believe in wind. It's not its religion. That's what this is. I don't care how hard you throw it on this kind of angle on backhand. It's going to finish almost on a nose angle. This is the most stable disc you've ever thrown. I love it for that. I don't even use it a lot, but if I just want something to just go as hard right as physically possible without going anywhere, because I probably can't throw this thing further than like 200 feet if I really wanted to. It's too stable. It's amazing. Plus the stamp is sick. It's too stable, and it's awesome. There's no amount of wind on this earth that will flip this disc over. I could probably throw this in a hurricane, and it would hyzer out on me. It is ridiculous. I love it. Onto the distance. Did I drop these again? No, I didn't. Cool. Distance drivers. I have 2 bayonets. The red one, which is Christmas colors with the green stamp. That is my less stable bayonet because I've beaten it in a little bit. And this blue one is next to brand new, except I've got some mud on it. But this one I'll kind of throw and there's a little bit of headwind. Sometimes I'll throw it on like a soft forehand and get it to hyzer flip up and then push. And then this one is when I'm disking up to the most stable, comfortable throwing. I have more stable discs that I own, but I'm probably not going to throw them off the tee if I want any sort of real distance. So I have this alpha bayonet, a little beaten in, to kind of just go straight when there's a little bit of wind, and if there's a lot of wind, then this is what I'll pull out just to get down the fairway, basically. I will forehand this too. This is probably the furthest disc I can get to forehand. They just fly forever. So yeah, that's kind of what my 2 bayonets are. A little bit of wind, a lot of wind, both go boom. Next I got super understable. This is like my like a Hades, not even a Hades. It's like a Mamba from Innova Discs. It's called the Tumbleweed. It's a 10.6 -4.1. This die is sick. Like, yeah, I don't know if you can see when it's spinning, but it makes this really cool while it's spinning thing. But I use this if I'm going really far uphill and I need something really understable. Or this is my roller disc. If I'm trying to throw a roller, I'm probably pulling this out. If I throw it flat, it'll get it to cook on this angle. Or if I'm throwing uphill, I want something less stable so I can get maximum distance. So that's also what I'll pull out. That's about all I use the Tumbleweed for, but for those specific shots, I love to have it. Next, I have my most stable disc in the, well, my most stable driver in the bag, the Seguin. Again, it's dirty because I need to start cleaning my discs. It's actually quite a problem. Send help. The Seguin is a 13.502. It is super stable. This one I'll rely on mostly forehands, like big chopping flex forehands, or if there's a lot of wind and I'm trying to just chip up with a forehand. But I do want to go further than what that Chupacabra will let me do. Then I'll throw the Seguin. That's about it. That's about all I use it for. This is beautiful, like sunset stamp on it though. It's gorgeous. Lone Star is just so good. But this is just my super stable distance driver. Then my go-to drivers. These are what I use the most. I have two of them. I have an Alpha and a Bravo curl. This is the Alpha curl. I use this on like 90% of my drives. This is all I'll pull out on anything above like 350 feet. And this is really just, it's understable enough that if I throw it a little bit of hyzer, I can get it to flip and turn before eventually flexing back. Or if it's tailwind, I can rip it on like anhyzer and just have it ride. It's really sick. And if I want just a tad more stable, I'll throw this new Bravo one, which does about the same thing, only it's a little more stable than this Alpha one is. So it's good to have kind of that variety where I have this one for understability so I can get max distance. This if I need a little more stability or I want to rip on it a little harder, then I know this will take the torque a little better than the Alpha will. But that is it. That is my bag. Please comment, share, subscribe, like, do all the other crazy YouTube things, and thank you for watching. There will be some vlogs coming out. Now that the weather's getting nicer, for those of you that don't know, I live in the middle of rural Pennsylvania, so it's cold a lot over the winter. So I didn't get out much to record a lot of content, but now that it's getting warmer out, it's like 60 today, it's gorgeous. I'm going to get out to record more content, probably record videos of me throwing more of my discs. Obviously, I'm still on the hunt for a zone replacement, but until then, I have a zone. But yeah, course reviews coming soon. Vlogs coming soon. I'm going to the A tier of the White Rose Open this weekend. This video should be up before I go there. I'll record a vlog for that. I'll record a vlog for Amateur Worlds later this year. And hopefully NADGT Championships if I qualify. Maybe. But either way, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the content I make and all the content I have coming in the future. Go Lone Star Discs. Thank you so much, Lone Star, for supporting me and allowing me to throw your wonderful plastic. I have loved every second of it, and obviously it works. I shot my my highest rated round ever today, and I won. So huge thank you to Lone Star Discs, and also huge thank you to Flippy Disc Golf. If you haven't been able to tell, I'm wearing it now. Got the Lone Star Disc, Flippy Disc Golf. Got the Instagram on the sleeve. Got the PDGA number. You know I'm strapped with it. Team Lone Star Disc. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. These things are so stinking comfy. I basically live in my Flippy jersey. But thank you so much, Flippy Disc Golf and Lone Star, for supporting me. I will catch you guys in the next one.